What's up, Panther Nation? We're at the postgame of the Ravens versus Panthers, and what a win today! What a win! I just want to say that is what our team looks like when it's clicking on all cylinders. I'm so happy with this win. We finally put up 21 points in the first half. We didn't have a cardiac cardiac arrest. See what I did there? In the fourth quarter. So I am so excited, to see uh, us not have a letdown in this game because the Ravens were one of those 60-40 win percentage games, and I am so pleased with how our offensive line played today. They did not allow a sack, no penalties, no dumb mistakes. They held themselves together today, and that was really, really awesome. And the theme on defense today was yards after the catch. We stopped yards after the catch. And some of y'all may not think that's a very important stat, but it is. It's an absolutely important stat, especially on defense. Because if your corners and safeties are doing their job, that takes away all the pressure off the linebackers, all the pressure off everybody else. That it makes all the difference. And when you have players like Luke Kuechly and Shaq Thompson out there stopping the yard after the catch, it works so much in our favor clockwise. And you saw the clock was just burning and ticking away for the Ravens. That's why that game seemed a lot faster than it usually does. Because we just burned the clock. We allowed the catches, but we didn't allow them to get extra off those catches on the sidelines. And that's big. That can make all the difference in a game sometimes. If you're doing everything else right and your corners and safeties get the job done, that stat, I would love to know our numbers on that stat after this game. So if somebody could post those in the comments, that would be great. I would love to know that for how many yards after the catch the Ravens got. Critical stat right there. But we're going to start from the position by position, as I normally do, giving up grades. And we're going to start with quarterback, which is an A minus. He looked really, really good today. And I've been waiting to give Cam an A minus for so long. He's had so many inaccurate passes, for the past how many games. And then finally, he just started click, 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 just finding wide open receivers. And it was amazing. And it was partially due to the fact that the wide receivers were open, but mostly the fact that Cam was actually putting it on target, and not overthrowing. And I love that. When Cam is clicking, when he's able to get those passes, we can get the run game going, we can get everything going. And even get Greg Olsen involved, in wide open passes. Because everybody's looking at the wide receivers, they're looking at the running backs. They're not looking at Greg. So that's why you saw two excellent catches by Greg Olsen today. So he ran great routes, and Cam did not miss a beat on short and medium passes. And even hit some long passes today. My goodness. That was really encouraging. So whoever was working with Cam this week, bravo to you. Bravo. Because whatever you did, it worked. Because he's been struggling with that for the past four or five games this year. And however long before that, even. So, uh, that's quarterback. I do give the A minus because there's always room to improve. You know, there were a couple of uh, passes that maybe he could have thrown somewhere else, and whatever. But I'm not going to hold it against him. Running backs A. Christian McCaffrey ran circles around that Ravens defense today. Circles. And I'm telling you, I was concerned about it because I thought, going into this, Ravens have the number one ranked defense, and I've been hearing about the run stopping all week, and then all of a sudden, Christian McCaffrey just takes off and just runs circles, and I'm just wow, excellent job, great blocking for him. I like those toss sweeps. I like everything that he was doing today. That was that's something we need more of. I don't think it's going to work as much against Pittsburgh when we play them, but uh, I think it'll definitely work against Tampa next week. We just have to pick our moments to use it. Uh, so A for running back, A for wide receiver. The wide receivers were getting open today like crazy. I don't know. I get the feeling like we were going up against like average corners and average safeties. I I could be wrong about that because we were going up against some decent corners and safeties before that in the past two games. So I figured, that's probably what was causing the problem with wide receiver separation. But hey, you never know. When I'm wrong, it actually benefits the team, so but today they looked really good. So tight end A. Greg Olson, those two big plays. One of them was in double coverage. Beautiful. Couldn't ask more of Greg, and especially that big play right before half that set up the field goal. That was. Can anybody explain what the heck happened there? Because I was like, I'm lost. Because we took the delay of game. We were already in field goal range. Because everybody knows that Gano can hit a 63 yarder. We saw him do it. So I was at a loss as to what was going on. And all of a sudden, we line up for that fourth and whatever it was after the delay of game. And I'm just like, what are you doing? You know? And then out of nowhere, you just see Greg Olson just wide open on the left side. And I'm just like, Greg, I don't know how you managed to pull that off, but whatever you did, it set us up and we got 3 points out of it. That was crazy. That was one of the craziest ends to a half I've ever seen. But we'll take it. You know, any points are good points. Going into halftime. Um, Offensive line A. Offensive line was so solid today. I can't even underscore how amazing they were today. No sacks, no penalties, and especially Clark. I want to point out Clark because every single game he has committed at least one holding penalty and at least allowed one sack per game, and he did not today. So well done, Clark. And the whole rest of the line just wow. Cam had so much time back there. He looked like Tom Brady back there with that much time. It was just crazy. And I know that's a terrible comparison, but he did. He had ample time back there to find these wide open receivers. He had time to go through his reads. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. I apologize for the background noise. My house is thin walls, so ignore that. So defensive line B plus. We struggled to get pressure on Flacco for a good while until I want to say midway through the first half. We started getting some decent pressure on him, and he started throwing some bad passes. But we allowed a lot of passes, but we stopped the yards after the catch, which is what I was emphasizing earlier. Uh, and that slowed down the Ravens' offense tremendously. Uh, so props to the D line. You know, the front four did really well. There's always room for improvement, but yeah, B plus. Corners B plus. Dante Jackson was on fire today. He was on fire. You notice they didn't throw it his way very often, and when he did, he broke it up. The times that he allowed the catch, he didn't let him get the yards after the catch. So, bravo, Dante Jackson. Great job. And a tip of the cap to Captain Munnerlin. Captain Munnerlin. This man had a pick today. You know you're having a good day when Captain Munnerlin intercepts the ball. You know you're having a good day when that happens. He never does that. He covered pretty well. I was pretty happy with him overall today. And I have not been able to say that all year, and I've been waiting to be able to say that. You know, I encourage these players, you know. I I try to find the good things that these players are doing, not so much the bad, but I will point you out if you do bad things as a player. It's just what I do. You know, it's healthy criticism, but you know, Captain, I could not find a single thing to criticize him on today. You know, he might have let one receiver go. Big deal, right? The pick made up for it, man. That interception made up for it. And I was ecstatic to see him get the job done. Um, Free safety, B plus. Free safeties were doing pretty good overall, and strong safety as well. Eric Reed got that one sack. He made some plays. You know, he stopped the yards after the catch. You know, everybody did their part. Everybody contributed, and that's what made the machine work. You know, it. You got how many compartments? 11, 11 compartments, and when they all work together, it's like harmony on defense. And that's what you saw when they have one common goal, which is stopping the yards after the catch and slowing down the Ravens offense. So I give free safety a B plus, strong safety an a B plus as well. That covers both those positions. Um, Linebacker Shaq did really well today. Luke took care of the run, um, and slowed down some of the passes actually. Um, Thomas Davis came in the clutch too to knock down a pass and take care of business. So I was our linebacker core is really really good, and if we could take advantage of the skill we have in our backfield right now, we could really do some damage. You know, we've got Tampa coming up, we've got Pittsburgh coming up, and I mean now was not the time for cruise control because Tampa is a trap game, and I say that because Tampa looks weak, but they in the fourth quarter they could be extremely dangerous. And there's a couple of examples of that. So we need to be careful of their Fitzpatrick mainly. Uh, Winston's been in and out, but Fitzpatrick, when he gets his opportunities, he's been pretty on point. So we need to, I think, same strategy, yards after the catch, in my opinion. Uh, Coaches know best. I'll leave that in the hands of the coaches because I'm just a fan. So, I can make suggestions, but coaches have control. So, but I think same strategy as this week. Defensive ends B plus. It took them a while to get going, but once they did, Julius Peppers. Julius Peppers, what a day! And when he finally got involved, it was magical because it was on critical plays that we needed him on to come up big in. Um, those third downs, those short second down plays, those are where you need those defensive ends to really step up. And Julius Peppers did today. So well done for him. Uh, Special teams A. We did a really good job. We pinned him once inside the 5. So good on him for that. Bird had that nice return. I don't know if anybody was paying attention to that, but he got about 12 yards, I would say. 12, 13, 14 yards, something like that. On that spin move, that was impressive. He just kept spinning his way through those defenders, and I was like, huh. So good for him. That he has hands, and that's why I like him back there. He has that acceleration out of the jump to get. Uh, he has that ball carrier vision. He knows where he wants to go, and he can get at least 10 yards out of a return every time. Um, yeah, intentional grounding. Thank you for that, Deshaun. Um, I appreciate you throwing in that comment because Cam got away with that one. He really did. And that also brings up another good point. Captain Munnerlin called out offensive pass interference, twice. It might have happened even 3 times in that same drive. But he called it out, and the refs paid attention to him, and he got the call. So both those times, they actually were pushes when I looked at those plays. They really were the correct call. Um, yeah, that was definitely intentional grounding though, and I'm surprised that the refs didn't flag that on Cam. Uh, I'm glad they didn't, but by the same token, I want the rules followed, and everybody else does too. Yeah, I was talking about that, Jared. He was in the pocket though, wasn't he? I believe it was. I mean, it's 50-50 whether he was in the pocket or not. I'm not sure because I didn't get a real good look at that side of the pocket to see if he was in or out of the tackle box. So that's a good question. Um, so if anybody knows the answer to that, feel free to drop that in the comments. If you got a real good look at it or looked at the replay of it, please let me know. Um, Defensive tackle. I want to point out Kyle Love. Kyle Love knocked down a fumble or knocked a fumble loose that led to us scoring a touchdown. So credit to him. He's had two solid games. He's been looking really solid out there, and I'm really happy with him. Um, and he's got an incredible story. So my heart goes out to him. He's a good guy. Uh, yeah. Again, if you're a Ravens fan, you know you'll get other chances to get wins. It's early. You know, I've noticed you guys don't really get started until that wild card chase. So best of luck to you, and I hope you guys make the playoffs. I have nothing against the Ravens at all. You know, I'm not for them either, but I'm not against them either. So, you know, uh, I do wish them the best of luck. Flacco is throwing some pretty good passes, so I think you guys will have a good shot at doing some damage down the road. But it's going to take a team effort from everybody in Baltimore, to get wins. Um, so we've got Tampa Bay coming up. Let's talk about Tampa Bay. Um, I've already mentioned Fitzpatrick. I've already mentioned Jameis Winston. So what it really comes down to is yards after the catch again. I think if we can again stop the yards after the catch, we should be okay. Um, Yeah, I'm not too concerned about that game. We just need to not treat it like a trap game and actually keep the pedal down. We need to put points up in the first half, like we did today. If we can do that consistently from here on, we should be okay. Um, call it if I think it's no call. Yeah, good point. Thank you, Jared. Um, yeah, generally they won't call it. You're right. And I think that's what happened today, referring to Cam in the tackle box. I'm glad you mentioned that again. Who was it? Let me see. I'm scrolling through the comments right now. Uh, Deshaun Kinchin. Yep, that was who mentioned it. Okay, thank you. Um, but yeah, Ravens will bounce back. I think, especially at home. They're a very, very dangerous team at home. Uh, during the wild card chase, during the last stretch of the year of the regular season. But Tampa Bay will again. I feel like it's a trap game because either Winston or Fitzpatrick could get on fire if we keep allowing him to get passes. So I think maybe the strategy should be to get a stronger pass rush, maybe one more blitzer besides what we've been doing, and make sure that we stop the yards after the catch as well. Double strategy. So, and that should be a win. Rolling into Heinz Field with a 6-2. That's what I'm thinking. If the Saints lose tonight, we tie for the lead, which makes that Buccaneers game all the more important. So we got to get a win next week. That's a must win. We can't just sit on these guys and just be like, "Oh, it's the Bucks." No, nah, not this year. Everybody's been going crazy getting upsets. We can't just sit idly by and just, even the Redskins beat us. Like but we beat ourselves technically, but still, same point. We can't treat anybody like, oh, it's the Redskins or oh, it's Tampa Bay. We've got to get these wins. We've got to rack them up. Uh, yeah, exactly. Um, Let me roll that comment back. What the Ravens and Panthers have in common is we are both easily part of the best division in our conference. In both divisions, yes. That's exactly right, Jared. Um, both these divisions are highly competitive. And I feel like it's going to be between Baltimore and Pittsburgh at the end of this. So uh, Tennessee's attempting to make a push, but I don't think they're going to get there. I think Ravens are going to be pushing for wild card. That's what I think. Uh, and that's normal. You know, that's normal of the NFL year. You expect to see the wild card come down to Baltimore and somebody else. Um, so we'll see how that rolls out. We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen there, but if we can get this win on Tampa, I actually don't know who the Saints are playing next week. Does anybody know who they're playing next week? Um, because that's important record wise. Um, we have we've got Tampa and a possible loss in Pittsburgh. Like I predicted a possible loss in Pittsburgh early on at the start of the season. It's that one game where, I call it a loss and we actually pull off a win. Just like Green Bay in 15, New England last year, you know, it's that one game. Um, you know, and I feel really good about the fact that we went 3-1 in October. Like, who else feels good about that right now? Because when you look at our October records and who we played, we were lucky to get out of there 2-2 some of those years. Even as good as we were, when we had a decent team, we pulled off a 4-0 and 15. And that really solidified our run to the Super Bowl in 15. But most of the rest of these years, it's been 2-2 or 1-3. And man, does it feel good to come out of October with a 3-1 record. I love it. It feels so refreshing because that is our toughest month of the year. And I feel like this year isn't even October isn't even our toughest year. I feel like it's December. If you really look at it, because this we play the Saints twice in 1 month, almost back to back games. Yeah, so I feel like it's December this year. That's going to be our hardest. Um, but that's really refreshing. 3-1. We're on track for 12 wins. I'm very, very happy. If we play some of the rest of these games like we played this one, we're in it to win it. Okay, Saints play the Rams next week. Gotcha. Thank you, Jared. Um, yeah, the Saints could lose that game, actually. The Rams have been on fire. So I see a possible division lead next week. If the Saints lose to the Vikings this week and they lose to the Rams next week, we get the lead if we beat the Bucks. And I tell you, that's going to feel great going into Heinz Field with the division lead. That's what we need. Um, a lot of the playoffs are going to be shaped, in the South by wins and losses by the Falcons and the Saints. As far as where we end up, we know how good we are. We know what our records are going to be, at the end of the year. Typically, they don't fall off the wagon too much from what I predict. So, these 12 wins, 11 win seasons, if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Uh, so, yeah, it's going to come down to December. Period. It is going to come down to the Saints games. If we can beat the Bucks and the Falcons right now are not doing too well. So if they continue that downturn, we're in great shape and right on the road to meeting the Saints in December for the division title. Winner takes all for the division. Um, Loser probably ends up wild card. I'm thinking Saints look good. I'm telling you right now, the Saints look really good. If you if anyone's really taken the time to scout them, um, I I think I watched one or two games this year of the Saints, and I was really impressed, particularly by their corners. So we may have trouble getting the wide receivers open during that game in December, but that's a long ways out. I'm not even worried right now. Right now, we need to focus on one game at a time. That's how we're going to win this league this year. One game at a time. And not taking any teams for granted. Not taking any of them as, oh, it's this team. It's, oh, the Buccaneers. Oh, the Redskins. This will be easy win. No. You saw what happened in Washington. Not again. I think we learned our lesson. And I don't think we're going to be sitting on these teams again. Um, you know, who else do we have? Let me look at the schedule here. Yeah, after we get out of Pittsburgh, we've got Detroit. Detroit actually surprised a couple of teams, so we can't sit on them. Seattle, obviously, we can't sit on them, no matter how weak their defense looks. Tampa Bay again, in Tampa, and then the Browns before we hit December. And you've seen what the Browns have been doing. Pittsburgh got ticked off that they tied with the Browns, and they took it to them today. So, yeah, I'm just watching around the league. I'm seeing what's happening, and I'm seeing all these upsets, and I'm just going, we need to be extra, extra careful. You know, a 5-1 record looks pretty much like a target for any of these teams coming up. And I've said that again, uh, I've said that when I was making predictions this year, and now I'm emphasizing it even more so. 6 games in, plus the bye week. So, who really knows how the NFL is going to shake out by the end of this? I honestly couldn't tell you. Even New England fell victim to some of these upsets. So you just can't you can't rely on your gut instinct this year. You know, Even stats are sometimes out the window this year. Um, yeah, look at Jacksonville, for example. Jacksonville, they've been burning. It's a slow burn from them. They uh, they fell off the wagon too. I think they lost the last two, including the Eagles game today. Yikes. We cannot sit on any team if we want to make the playoffs and reach 12 wins. All right, so that's the bottom line. Um, which quarterback would I rather play against next week? Probably. That's a tough one. That is a tough one, because both those quarterbacks have their ups and downs. Uh, Probably Fitzpatrick, and I'll say that because when he has a letdown, he has really had a letdown. Like, I've been looking at his stats and they've just dropped off the map in some cases. So we'll see what happens. I'm feeling pretty confident. It's a 60-41 percentage, over the box. Probably even a 65-40. 60-40. So, you know, but the stakes are raised. The stakes are definitely raised. And we can't just rely on division opponents losing. We've got to take the initiative and get these wins. As much of a luxury as it would be if the Saints had dropped off the wagon wheel and the Falcons stayed where they were, you know, we've got to get those first half points and get going. That's just all there is to it. I think we did allow a lot of passes today. That might be the only concern I've got going into this, but like I said, yards after the catch. So that would be the thing to concentrate on, I think, going forward. That's the takeaway. We definitely need to not get lazy on tackling. We need to not get lazy once we get a lead. Uh, we've got to keep the throttle down. I've seen. Okay, forgive this reference if you're a college fan and you're not a Clemson fan, but I'm Clemson biased. So, um, I've seen a number of Clemson games where they just fall off the wagon wheel. Once they've got a lead, they get lazy, and then the other team catches up. I.e., example, Louisville uh, last year. So you can't just sit on teams and not keep the throttle down. I can't think of any examples offhand of when we did it in the past 2 years, but I'm sure I could find a couple where we did. Um, yeah, let me look at these comments. Quincy's throwing out some comments about Winston and Fitzpatrick here. Um, Fitzpatrick will be more methodical and conservative. Numbers won't be great, but he will limit turnovers. This is true. This is true. I've noticed that in the stats. Um, Winston will probably put up better numbers, but his decision making could turn the ball over. You got a point. You got a point. Um, yeah, Fitzpatrick was the one that brought him back today. Winston threw 400 yards last week, but the Bucks trade him. He's the franchise quarterback. And that same quarterback threw 4 picks today. Yeah, okay. So it's kind of an even trade off. Like I was saying earlier, one quarterback racks up a bunch of yards, makes terrible decisions. The other quarterback doesn't put up great numbers, but he holds on to the ball and doesn't create turnovers. So, it's an even battle, really. So I think we should game plan for both, just to be sure. And our defensive players should be aware of where the ball is at all times, and jump on it when it's available to them. Um, yeah, Quincy's referencing Eli throwing 7 interceptions so far. Yeah, everybody knows Eli's reputation with interceptions. So, all right, Quincy, you can't be putting stuff like that in the chat, dude. Calm down. Keep it chill, bud. But yeah, this is gonna be a big game coming up. We gotta win it. I would really like to have one loss going into Pittsburgh. Uh, yeah, I actually agree with you. Eli isn't. Mm, Philip actually cleaned up some of his picks. He's not as bad as he used to be. Philip Rivers, I'm talking about. But Eli Manning is still throwing picks like nobody's business, and I'm not thrilled with him so far this year. I'm not impressed. That's Gettleman's team now. Keep that in mind. Gettleman has taken over that team now. So, first year of Gettleman, don't expect too much, but the second year, expect some changes. Um, you can tell a lot about what what he's going to have in the next 2 or 3 years by what he does in the offseason moves this offseason in New York. So keep your eyes peeled on that. Um, yeah, we actually are flying under the radar. Actually, we're quietly getting these wins, and I think only a couple of media people really paying attention to us. But when we lost to the Redskins, oh, the media was just all over us. It was just like a manslaughter happened when we lost to the Redskins. And I was like, really? Like, oh, the Redskins are the most underrated team in the country, in the NFL, after we lost to them. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. They get some magical win over the Giants this week, and now all of a sudden the Redskins are high flying and amazing. Man, give me a freaking break. We beat ourselves in that game. Like, that's what I don't understand, man. Yeah. I'm just watching around the league to see stuff like that, and it just, it drives me nuts. You know, I think I'll touch on Eric Reed in a different video, but, in a different live stream. But yeah, I have a few words I want to say about him, uh, in regards to a certain article I saw. Let me see if I still have that. Give me just a moment. Um, yeah, here it is. Here it is. Panthers Reed calls Jenkins sellout and protest movement. Yeah, that's what I woke up to on Monday morning after that game against the Eagles. That did not make me happy at all. And all of y'all saw that confrontation before the game. Uh, here's the thing. Here's what I define a distraction as far as Eric Reed is concerned. If it happens during the game, on the field, that's a distraction. If it happens uh, outside of the stadium, fine, do whatever you want. Just don't do anything stupid, that makes our whole franchise look bad. That's my opinion on it. And I know I'm gonna lose some fans on this one, but that's how I feel about it. Just don't make a wave, get the job done like you did today, and there's no problems. You're on a 1 year contract. We'll talk about the protest stuff once your contract comes up. At the end of the season. Right now, we need to focus on winning ball games. That's my thoughts on the matter on Eric. Um, so yeah, when I saw those two jawing, I was just like, that really. Mm. He is a Pro Bowler. He is a Pro Bowler. Good point. But and that's exactly what we signed was a Pro Bowler. We didn't sign him for his protest crap. We signed him for his Pro Bowl abilities. We had a need. So, I applaud the management and I still do for that move. As long as he doesn't do anything stupid outside of, outside of the stadium to make us look bad or in the stadium to draw flags that hurts us in game. Um Not a Pro Bowler? Is he a Pro Bowler or not? I see one comment saying he is, one comment saying he isn't. Uh, I don't have access to those stats, so I don't know. I thought he was though, wasn't he? Did he not make one? Huh. Well, I think he's, you know, even if he hasn't, I feel like he should. He should have at least made it once. But yeah, again, as long as he doesn't draw flags that hurt us in game, and do stupid things in game, we should be fine. Do what you want outside of the stadium. I don't care. Uh, Two-time Pro Bowler. Uh, Quincy says two-time Pro Bowler. So I guess he actually is looking at the stats right now. I don't know. Either way, we hired him for his ability on the field, and we got what we paid for so far. I'm pleased with it. He does take some plays off back there sometimes uh, before this game. So yeah, but if he plays like he did today, we should be fine. Uh, okay, yeah, he was okay. Confirmed. He is a Pro Bowler. He just okay. Um, I thought so. Um, and then the second article on that same paper, Panthers going to hurry up offense, not so fast, says Rivera. See, here's the thing. Well, Cam was struggling in on that first drive, and then once we went into hurry up offense, we started feasting and feasting, and it worked. It worked. So I don't see why we can't keep doing it. Off and on. Just switch it out. Just uh, tempo can be such a huge thing in games. I mean, again, I'm going back to Clemson's example. Their whole offense is tempo. If you really look at it, and that's what I was looking at in 2015 with our Panthers. We had an excellent tempo. We had a rhythm. We were getting passes down the field. We were moving the ball. We were moving the chains. We were looking good. And ultimately, that's the bar that we want to reach again. You know, we set the bar for ourselves in 15. So that's, in some ways, we are reaching a few of those bars, but we haven't totally gotten all of them yet. Um, uh, we reached a good chunk of them today, I feel like. Because one of the big things that uh, we focused on in 15 was yards after the catch. Stopping the yards after the catch on defense and getting more yards after the catch on offense. and we had the talent to do that in 15, and I think we've got the talent to do that in 2018. So we'll see how that shakes out. Uh, so let's see what these comments are here. Catching up on comments. Sam Darnold is trash apparently. Josh Allen had 86-yard games. Okay. All right. I'm not really going to touch on that too much. Overall, we looked so good today. Cam needs a number one receiver. Thank you, Quincy. Yes, he does. We need to draft one. We don't need to trade for one. We need to draft one. We've got so many picks. We've got plenty of spots that we've got filled. I don't know how many players are going to be moved this off season. I don't know how many players are actually thinking about retiring. I know two of them are considering retiring, and that's who Thomas Davis and I forget who the other one was. But you know, that being the case, we do need to go for a wide receiver in the draft or in free agent period. Uh, Depending on how much cap space we have, there's a lot of factors involved. There's a lot involved, and I'll be going over that. Once we get to that point after the season. Um, because I'll be putting out several videos and doing a few live streams regarding that. Um, but yeah, Funches is pretty good, but I struggle to call him a number one wide receiver. Really, um, he just hasn't quite got there yet, as far as the number one status for me. Um, yeah, the Colts. The Colts. Thank you, Quincy. The Colts found a offensive line, and now Andrew Luck is just slinging the ball. So I don't know what changed on that offensive line that they fixed in the offseason, but whatever it is, it's working. And good for them. I'm happy to see the Colts come back and get some wins that they normally wouldn't, without that offensive line. But yeah, there's a lot going on in the league. A lot of upsets, a lot of moves being made. Uh, so we'll see. Um, yeah, he's better than okay. I agree with Jared. He may not be the best in the league, but he's darn good as the number one. Yeah, yeah, he satisfies the need. That's as long as we can get other wide receivers open, we'll be okay. Um, you know, okay, Colts offense bill for Andrew Luck. Stats not wins. Hmm. Okay, that's an interesting comment. Because the bottom line, you want to get wins in the National Football League. That's the bottom line. Um, Stats look good, but wins are better. Um, but it's that offensive line that Andrew Luck was lacking for the past 3 years, and now he has it. Okay, Jared, you have a point. You can't look at that one touchdown against the Redskins and not say that he's not a number one. Okay, I I feel like I agree with that. That was a heck of a catch. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was a heck of a catch. He got it done. Um, I think two things we need consistency right now is number one. If we can consistently do what we did today, we should be straight on track for 12 wins, possibly 13. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna jump on the 13 wagon just yet, but I think 12 at least. Yeah, Deshaun Watson's been doing good in Houston. Uh, if you watch that game on Thursday, he went ham. I don't know any other way to put it. He just went ham and did Deshaun Watson things. You know, I've been watching him since uh, when I first saw him in Clemson. You know, and he has never not surprised me in a game. That man has found ways to keep the play alive. He's found ways to move the chains. He's found ways to just. He's got a little bit of Cam Newton in him. He's got a little bit of Carson Wentz in him. He's got a little bit of Russell Wilson in him. You know, I heard one commenter say that, and I was like, "You are absolutely on point with that. That's correct." Um, yeah, exactly. Watson doesn't even have an offensive line, and he's still winning. That's how good he is. Exactly. That's how good Watson is when he really uh, gets going. You know, you can't stop him. He's like a workhorse. So I'm equally excited to see him succeed as I am not wanting to play against him. Because it's essentially like playing against Cam Newton. Um, the advantage being that we actually have practiced against Cam so many times, so we're prepared for whatever he could bring. So, getting rid of Kelvin Benjamin was a positive move. I see that now. Um, and I'll get back to that in a second. But yeah, Watson had 20 passes, 5 touchdowns. That's just ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And that's Deshaun Watson for you. Y'all are starting to see him in rare form in the NFL now. Cause that's all he did at Clemson. That's seriously all he did at Clemson, man. Like it just blew my mind every week on Saturdays. And I'm a proud Clemson fan. When I saw those moves, I was like, whoa. There's some players you just know are going to be playing on Sundays. There's just some of them that you can just tell right away, and he was one of them. Um, Carson Wentz was good too. Yeah, true. Getting back to Kelvin Benjamin, that was a very positive move. You know, when it was made, I was like, no, what are you doing? You know, we're losing a number one wide receiver. But once I started really looking into what he was doing and what he had failed to accomplish in Carolina, plus his trash talking after he left Carolina, and then puts up what kind of stats with Eli Manning and with the Bills, and I'm just like, you did say any quarterback, dude. You did say any quarterback. He goes up to Buffalo and just what targeted 4 times, maybe twice. Man, don't insult our quarterback if you can't put up the numbers to back your words up. Just don't. Just don't. What did you do in Carolina? Like really, you were gifted by Cam Newton. Really, you got him as a gift when you came into the league, and then you go over to Buffalo and you just put up two catches. You can't get separation. You can't. You keep dropping passes, and then you want to trash our quarterback before you put up that performance. Just man, get out. Just get out, Kelvin. Just no. I'm done with that handball. I'm just straight done with him. Even the Bills fans hate him right now. Even the Bills fans hate him. And that's really saying something right now. All right. So this post game has gone over for about an hour, and I appreciate y'all's comments. I appreciate y'all's input on this game. Um, so let's see. Cam took the Panthers to the Super Bowl. Amazing name. Number one pick did it. That's right. Cam was a number one pick. That's exactly right. Benjamin's overweight. Yeah. Oh my god. That training camp when he showed up overweight. Oh god, dude. If he shows up overweight in Buffalo, I'm gonna laugh so hard, dude. I'm gonna laugh so hard. Buffalo, you deserve it. You deserve our trash. You pick up our trash players, you get trash, essentially. You get what you're paying for. You get trash. You want to sign him for low contracts? Go ahead, be my guest. But all you're getting is trash. They're players we don't want. You know. Um. So I think on that note, I'm going to end this stream here. Um. This live stream, post game live stream. Uh. I think I've said enough about this coming game here against the Bucks. We just got to go out there and win it. Plain and simple, we got to go out there and win it. Uh, so yeah, I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the likes, and the support for the channel. Thank you guys so very much, from the bottom of my heart, man. Like, this is real. This is real right here. Real love for y'all. Like, y'all are why I keep doing this. And you need some Slim Fast. Calvin Benjamin needs Slim Fast. He needs some tape on his hands too. Y'all are hilarious. Oh, seriously. This is why I keep doing this, man. Y'all. These comments and this support like this, man. This is great. Y'all are amazing. I'm for real. Y'all are amazing. Like, all the views that I got, like, I got a stupid amount of views for the training camp. Like, that was crazy. I didn't even know that many people were interested in this channel until I saw the view counts, and I was like, man, y'all are cool. Like, I didn't even expect to get anything out of this channel, really. But, you know, that's always how it starts, though. And I'm so pleased that y'all have stuck around and love to hear me rant, and talk about this team. And y'all know I love this team. Y'all know I put my heart and soul into this team. So that is the heart and soul of this channel. And that is why we all say, keep pounding. Peace, y'all. Have an amazing day. And we're here for the Bucks next week. Peace, y'all.